Hello, welcome to another webinar series that we've been doing over the last few months. Today's one is remote working and how it can be made easier for our customers and potential new customers. I'm Martin, I'm the Technical Support Manager here at Simply Mail Solutions, and we're going to walk through the webinar now. So we normally start with this slide here, which is basically just a bit about us, the areas that we cover. We are purely Microsoft house. We only sell Microsoft products with add-on services as well. We have been here around for a very long time, since 2006, and we are here to help all our customers and potentially new customers come into us. So let's just moving on to what we're going to be doing today. So it's basically going to be what is needed for remote working. So when you're remote working, obviously there's several things that you're going to need in place in order for it to work. The main one is going to be an internet connection that is reliable, whether that's a Wi-Fi connection or a physical fixed connection. In wherever you're going to be working remotely, whether it's at home or in another location away from the office. The second thing you're going to need is a reliable workstation, such as a desktop, a laptop, or a tablet. And the third thing that you're going to need is the software to connect to your work documents, such as Office or an internet browser, any specific third-party software that you use for your day-to-day job. So they're the main three things that you're going to need to work remotely whilst you're away from the office. So what 365 services can assist when you're actually working remotely? So there is several services that you can utilize whilst working remotely within 365. The main three are Exchange, which is the mailbox. You've got SharePoint and OneDrive, which is cloud storage and collaboration. And you've got Teams, which is communication. And these three products are found inside Business Standard, Basic, and then you've got Enterprise plans as well. But they are the main three things. We're just going to summarize some of them now. So Exchange Online, this is basically Office 365 enterprise class mailbox that you get with 365 directly. It's very similar to other services that we offer on Hosted Exchange, but this is actually on Microsoft servers, and this is one of the most reliable email platforms available. It's fully encrypted connections between device, so between you and the server. It is encrypted, so any data that is communicated is secure. And also you can access your mailbox from anywhere in the world, as long as there's an internet connection and you have a browser. This is available anywhere, and it'll just work. There's also dedicated mobile apps available. It's also compatible with Windows, Mac, and you can also view webmail online as well. The dedicated mobile apps both work on tablet and on mobile phone. That's Android and iOS. So that's just a brief summarising what actual Exchange Online is. This is, like I say, the #1 service that we generally sell as part of other products that attach to it as well. So the next one that you'd be looking at would be SharePoint Online and OneDrive. Now these work sort of hand in hand. So you've got SharePoint Online, which is effectively a document library that you can collaborate with your staff or with your suppliers, for example. So you can literally store Word documents, Excel, PowerPoint, and you can actually collaboratively work on them with your team and also share them out to external sources as well. Obviously, that's a service that has to be enabled, but that's what you would do with SharePoint. It's effectively like a big filing cabinet, and it stores everything in there. And you literally go to the SharePoint website within your account, and then you can search for files. You can add things like Wikipedia to it. You can add knowledge bases to it, calendars, that kind of thing. Basically, it's very, very powerful system. Now OneDrive on 365 isn't to be compared to the same as the personal version. OneDrive is on 365, on Business 365. It actually sits on top of SharePoint, so it's actually still a file storage. It's still able to store your documents, but it's designed to store your own personal files for yourself, not for your team. Now you can share files from OneDrive, but if you want to work on a document collaboratively, you would use SharePoint. That's the main the main suite that you would use in order to do document sharing. But OneDrive is specifically like basically your online cloud storage that you can store your files in, and you get a terabyte of space on that on the business standard and higher. And now moving on to the next point. SharePoint, like I say, is more of a centralized system, like I just mentioned. It offers storage. That's not tied to the specific user, so it's overall in the actual account itself. Whereas, like I say, OneDrive is specific storage to the actual end user. So the end user will say gets a terabyte of space that they can store all their files in. There is a mobile client available. There's also a desktop client, so you can actually sync all your files that are on your machine to OneDrive. And they both give options to share files. SharePoint gives you a lot greater sharing. And OneDrive, you can still share files as well, but like I said, it is mainly designed for individuals. OneDrive and SharePoint is for a team, basically. So the next point that we're going to go into is Teams. So how can Teams work with you when you're working remotely? So Teams is basically been rebranded several times, from Microsoft Communicator to Skype for business, and then there's Teams. And this is basically a communication platform that basically allows you to communicate via chat, via voice or via video. You can hold live events, such as what we're doing today on Teams. For live events, you'd have to have an enterprise plan to do that. But it's basically the #1 platform for communication for video, text, and video-based communication. It allows you to do desktop sharing, so you can share files over like a remote desktop type environment. You can do whiteboard sessions on it. You can create breakout rooms on there for Teams. It can be configured with a service called Business Voice, which is a bit more of an advanced feature of Teams. This allows you to bring your own phone system into Teams and have a dedicated number that any phone can ring, and it will actually ring your Teams, whether it's on your mobile phone or on your PC or even a desktop phone if you've got one configured. And that's basically what Teams is. It's just a communication platform that allows you to communicate with your staff and your suppliers over, like I say, over text, voice, or video. So one of the other questions that people ask when you're working remotely is staying safe with 365. What options are there available to ensure that when you're working remotely, what you're doing and what files you're working on, etc., is actually safe? Now, there is 4 points for this. These are a bit more advanced, some of the options on here, but 365 offers you two main services. One's called security defaults and one's multi-factor authentication, which we're going to go into shortly. And then there's 2 other add-on products that you can buy. One is Azure information protection and one's InTune. And we'll also go into them shortly as well, and they're just another level of safety when you're on 365. So what is security defaults? So security defaults is a new pre-configured security setting that Microsoft enabled some time ago, and basically what that allows you to do is it gives you another level of security for your accounts, basically, and it disables legacy protocols such as basic authentication. And when it's enabled, you can enable multi-factor authentication, so it requires like a code in order to sign in, and it just gives your account a little bit more security verification to prove when you're logging in it's who it says it is, and it blocks some of the old, like I say, some of the older legacy protocols that you used previously. So it's just more of a very basic level of protection on your account. So moving on to the next one, which is going to be multi-factor authentication. This is basically a way of providing a multi-factor method of authenticating into your account. So what this basically does is you have the service enabled on your account. You would log in normally with a password, and then what it would ask you for is a code. Now that code can either be text to you, you can have a phone call, or the easiest way to do it is via the Microsoft Authenticator app, because what that can do is it can actually send a push alert to your phone where all you have to do is accept it, and then it'll ask you for, if you're on an iPhone, it'll ask for Face ID or a thumbprint or a password for your phone, and then it will actually log you into your account. So it's effectively just log straight in without any issues. or if you don't have that, if you don't want that feature on, you can just have the app basically giving you a code. You tap the code in and it just logs you straight in. This is the number one nowadays way of ensuring your account is secure. I mean, nothing's 100%, but this is basically a level to ensure that when you're logging in, they know it's you, because without that code, it's very difficult for anyone else to sign in. So it's a service that if you're working remotely, especially, we recommend everyone enabling this feature, because this is like I say, this is a fantastic option that you can turn on, and more places are actually enabling multi-factor authentication. So I think it's going to be a main industry standard across the board. So one of the other services that you can get for safety and security is a service called Azure Information Protection, or AIP for short. And what this basically allows you to do is it allows you to protect information that you're processing. So, for example, you've got documents that are sensitive, and you don't want, Joe Blogs to read them. You can actually add labels on them called and say it's confidential, or it's private, or sensitive, for example. And only that document then can be accessed by the people you say that can access that document. So that's like Word files, Excel files, and you can do it on email as well. So you can really restrict what files people can have access to. There is a plugin available that you can download that allows you to do it in Windows. So you can right click on a file and set a label on it. But this is a way of ensuring that information that you have for your business is kept secure and out of the reach of prying eyes. So only the people that you say have access to it can. The other side of AIP is you can actually encrypt your messages that you send. So when you send an email in Outlook, even though the connection is encrypted, the message itself isn't. So you can actually encrypt the message. So if you're working in finance or something where data is secure, like the legal services, etc., you can send an email which is encrypted, and when it's received at the other end, they have to decrypt it, whether that's and they'll get a link that they click on, and they have to verify it's them, and they'll get a code so they can actually view that message. The actual sender can also disable the ability to forward that message on to anyone else. So it can only be sent to one person, and that message can't be forwarded to anyone. You can restrict it from doing that. It is very customizable, and there is a lot more options within the encryption side and in AIP itself. And we're here to help and assist you with that. If you have any questions about that, then feel free to contact us, and we can answer them for you. The other service that you can also take out as well, you can actually buy them you can actually get them as a bundle together, is InTune, and that basically is another level of protecting users when they're away from the office, especially nowadays with everything that's actually gone on. Basically, what InTune allows you to do is it configures your organization to a standard for devices, so you can restrict what your devices that your users have got can do. So you can do even basic things like disabling things like the camera. You can only get them to access certain drives. You can prevent them accessing certain files, and you can control. It's a policy-driven service that does work. Let's say works in conjunction with AIP. But once it's enabled, you can also push things like updates out. So if you've got it on Windows, for example, you can actually push out software updates via InTune. And it's a multi-platform, so it's phone, tablet, desktop, laptop. It works on them all, as long as the service is assigned to the user and you actually set up the policy on what you want it to do. InTune will actually work, and it will protect your users and your business from unauthorized access to certain things and leaking information, that kind of thing. But that's effectively what InTune is. So that's basically everything that we've discussed today on working remotely from home or a remote location away from the office. It basically we've covered things what 365 can offer, what do you need to actually work remotely, and obviously what security methods that you can put in place in order to keep yourself secure. This is a section here where we basically just talk about how we fit into it. So as I previously mentioned, we have been here since 2006. We do have one of the very first true everything in the cloud providers. We do provide everything from email to 365 to domains and web hosting. even other services such as disclaimer services and things like that. We are fully based in the UK. Our sales and help and support desk are based in the UK, and phones are available 9 to 5. We are available via our ticketing system 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year for support, and we're here to basically help, and the numbers are on screen at the moment. Sales can be contacted on 01925 818 448, and support can be contacted on 01925 818 252. And we are here to help our customers and potentially new customers, any questions that they may have. So just to summarise, finally, thanks very much for watching. I'm Martin. I presented the webinar today. I hope you found it informative, and stay tuned for further webinars that we'll be doing. We do them normally every fortnight, and it's a different topic every fortnight that we do them. If you have any questions, then please get in contact with us, and we'll be more happy to help. Thanks very much for watching. Speak to you soon.